Here's something I want you to realize. If a man will take the Bible and will willfully pervert the Bible, then he'll pervert anything. The Bible also says in the book of James that a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. They used to say, the old-time preachers did, that if an unstable man came to town, you better have your wallet in your hand and your wife in the other hand, because he's unstable in all of his ways. And I have found that when these people so blatantly misrepresent God, the Bible calls that perverting the right ways of the Lord. And if he'll pervert God, then there's no limit to the other things in his life that are perverted as well. Hey guys, your friend Spencer here. I want to talk about Carl Lentz, the famous pastor, the rock star pastor of Hillsong New York City. And I want to talk to you about him for just a minute, because the church there in New York City just fired him. And rightfully so. I think they should have done it. I think there's probably more that they should do, like, I don't know, maybe just shut the whole thing down, because it's not a church anyway. But that's for another video for another time. But Carl Lentz apparently has been caught doing some moral failures, and it's not good what they have caught him in. They have not disclosed what that is, but who knows with guys like this. I got NBC News posting this. We have People Magazine, Fox News, and then we have Entertainment Tonight also, all posting the same thing, basically the same article, almost word for word. It says right here, Carl Lentz, a mega pastor and one-time spiritual advisor to Justin Bieber, was fired from Hillsong Church in part due to moral failures. Brian Houston, the founder of Hillsong, which he's the pastor of the Hillsong in Australia there. And by the way, if people don't know, but Brian Houston's father had major moral issues, let's just put it that way. They announced his termination online Wednesday, and they said this action was not taken lightly and was done in the best interest of everyone, including Pastor Carl. Houston wrote, thanking Lentz and his wife Laura for their work in the church. They have a heart for people, and we're confident that after a time of rest and restoration, God will use Carl in another way outside of Hillsong Church. In terminating his tenure, we in no way want to diminish the good work he did here. So, 41 years old, and now he's out of a job, and that's what happens whenever you mess around in sin. But the truth be told, that Hillsong Church is really not a church, and Carl Lentz has been in sin for a very long time. And here's just another picture here of People Magazine. It shows him with Justin Bieber. That really was his claim to fame, was that this was the guy who was the spiritual advisor to Justin Bieber, the Beeb, and they were all hanging around together with their arms all over each other, going shopping together, and posing for all kinds of awkward, bromantic pictures like this very, very often. So that's really who this guy is, and we've dealt with several videos dealing with him and just what he is, and how just awful he is as a theologian, really as a preacher, and as a example of Jesus Christ. He fails in so many different ways. But the problem today is that the reason he has the moral failures that he has in his life is because, first of all, he had doctrinal failures in his life. And I think today the big problem with American churches, especially Western churches, and really this kind of stuff just bleeds throughout all the world, is that nobody's really looking for what's biblical. Everybody's looking for what's sensational. They don't want what's scriptural. They want what's sensational. And people nowadays are not chasing what's holy. They're chasing what's hip. They're not chasing what's spiritual. They're chasing what is suave. And they're not really looking for a pastor who walks with God. They're looking for a pastor who walks with celebrities. And that we've got the whole thing backwards. And so many people have woefully and grievously erred in this capacity. I want to take you to the book of Acts, chapter 13. I want you to see that the Apostle Paul, very early in his ministry, dealt with people like this. One of them was named Bar-Jesus in Acts chapter 13, verse 6. And there, Paul and Barnabas, or Barnabas and Saul, and they called him Paul later, it says that they were going around and preaching the word of God. It says in verse number 8, it says, but Elymas, which by the way is another name for the same guy, Bar-Jesus here, it's the same person. But Elymas the sorcerer, for so is his name by interpretation, withstood them, seeking to turn away the deputy from the faith. And Saul, who is also called Paul, filled with the Holy Ghost, set his eyes on him, and said, O fool of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil. Boy, that's not very kind of the Apostle Paul right there, is it? I wish he was a little bit more kind in his delivery. Maybe he seemed a little judgmental, but that's just me. Thou child of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to, notice this right here, pervert the right ways of the Lord. And so basically Paul is saying that God is who he is, and now you are actually perverting who God is. You are distorting and perverting the image of God, the gospel of Christ. Matter of fact, even in the book of Galatians, you find that the Apostle Paul had to deal with what we call gospel perverts. And in Galatians chapter 1, verse 7, it says, which is not another, talk about the gospel. Verse number 6, I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that has called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that would trouble you. And notice this, would pervert the gospel of Christ. These are theological perverts. And I want you to know that if a man is a theological pervert, a man who perverts the right ways of God, then there is no doubt in my mind that he's probably a pervert in many other different areas of his life. I don't know what his charges are, but I'd imagine that if it's something so high profile and such a, I had been told that he had stopped posting on Instagram in September. But if a man will pervert God, he'll pervert anything. Now, this is the same guy who said that he was asked about his views on abortion by a CNN reporter, and then someone said, would you ever consider changing your mind on that? And Carl Lentz said, it's possible. Well, that tells me right there, this guy is a total apostate and just a train wreck theologically, and needs to be avoided as much as he possibly can be. His position on other social issues have been terrible. He basically is a full-blown modernist, and I am very convinced that Carl Lentz is not even saved. He does not even know Christ, and because of the evidences in his life and the things that he claims that he believes. And but here's the thing I want you to see, and this is something that I am getting more and more into as time goes on. I'm getting ready to release a video very soon to you guys about the doctrine of Jezebel. And the people at Thyatira were allowing this woman, Revelation 2:20, this woman Jezebel, that calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and seduce my servants to commit fornication and eat things sacrificed to idols. So that committing fornication, that was an influence in the church that was bringing the people of God into a loose lifestyle. They were living like the heathen people of those days, the pagan people of those days. And then also it says to eat things sacrificed unto idols, meaning that they just got super worldly. And if you understand, there in Corinth, there was all these Roman temples, and they were worshiping all these Roman gods. And now all of a sudden, the things that we used to separate from, we're now fellowshipping with these pagan deities and all this kind of nonsense. That's the Jezebel doctrine. I'm convinced more and more as time goes on that the people who hold to what I'm calling the doctrine of Jezebel look a lot like this, and their lives are just immoral, and they are leading the people that follow them into immorality themselves. Now, guys, let's just be real for a moment, okay? And I can speak from an informed position on this stuff, because I have known so many people that were in this movement even before I got saved. Let's be real. The people that are in these churches, you and I both know that they are all a bunch of beer-drinking, fornicating, tattoo-getting, cussing, immoral people. But they get into a church and they love Jesus every Sunday. That's who these people are, and that is not some condescending, judgmental state. That is a statement of fact, and you know that's true, and I know that's true. Okay, there's no need to even debate that, because we all know it's true. But what is that? That is the doctrine of Jezebel. That is what is happening in these people's lives, and so I believe it's time that these people, especially you Hillsong folks, you need to really wake up and kind of evaluate yourself here. Paul said, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. And I want you to know that there are a lot of people in the Bible that are called reprobates. There's the black magic people, there's the immoral people, but also there's the religious crowd. There are people that have a form of godliness, that go to church every Sunday. And Paul says that there were reprobates. Let me pull this up here. And 1 Corinthians 13:5. He's talking to church people here, and he says, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith, prove your own selves, know ye not your own selves how that Jesus Christ is in you, except you be reprobates. And he's not saying this to a bunch of drunks on the street. He's saying this to people that go to a church. And I'm going to just make the application here and say that maybe this could be applied to you Hillsong folks. Do you really know that you're saved? Do you really know that you're saved? Are you truly born again? Because if not, then you've got a big problem on your hands. It's time to really step back and examine yourself and think, am I truly born again? And I'm convinced that the Hillsong doctrine, whatever they teach and preach Sunday morning, Sunday night, and whatever services they do, and the things that are in their books, the doctrine that's in their music, and the things that's in their sermons, it is so out of step with what the Bible clearly teaches that I am convinced these people are not Christians. There's no way. They just can't be. And I'm not. I don't say that as some boasting, raging fundamentalist guy just sitting there trying to beat you over the head with truth. I'm telling you that from a position of love and compassion. I am very concerned for you people because this stuff is dangerous. This stuff is very dangerous. And so here's the thing, and this is what I want everybody to get. Okay, a lot of people today are not looking for a man who is spiritual. They're looking for a man who's suave. A lot of churches today are not looking for a man to lead them that's holy. They're looking for some guy who's hip. And truth be told, if you're looking for a pastor, we can help you. I want to help you. But you don't need to look for a guy who walks with celebrities. You need to look for a man who walks with Christ and who's humble and holy and good-spirited and can show you from the Bible what that is. And so I want to give this to you right fast. This is our website, independentbaptist.church, and I want you to go there. If you're in one of these churches, I want to implore you and beg you, get out of these things. These things are a doctrinal mess. They're an absolute train wreck. They are a complete bastion of immorality and sin. And you know that, and I know that, and I pray that God would awaken your eyes to that. But listen, stop chasing things that are sensational, suave, hip, and start looking for things that are scriptural, holy, good, and right. And that's what we want to give to you. The doctrine of Jezebel is everywhere. It's everywhere. It was in the church at Thyatira in Revelation chapter 2. It was there when this woman was going around teaching there in Revelation 2:20. But also in Acts chapter 13, it wasn't very long that the Apostle Paul was dealing with these people that are these what we call gospel perverts. And verse number 10, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord? Now, guys, let me just say this to you in closing, okay? With a channel like mine, I get millions of views a month. I really do. I think I average about 2 million views a month. And with that, I've had an opportunity to meet some extraordinary people. I've had some very fascinating phone calls and some just wild emails. And really, it has been a great experience doing this YouTube channel. I have had a wonderful time. And if I could do it all over again, I would have done it sooner. It's been great. It really has been. But I have had people reach out to me, high-ranking folks in the I just call it the TBN world, the charismatic world, people that are highly involved with the big names that you and I know, and they have all told me in private conversations, you would not believe the immorality amongst these people. You would not believe the lewdness, and when all the cameras are turned off, when all the when it's just us in a hotel room or us just in a private setting. You would not believe the amount of wickedness that goes on. I have had women reach out to me and tell me, said, I used to work for this high-ranking guy at TBN, and I just can't anymore. But he was creepy. He was creepy. I just felt like he was, whatever. And guys, a lot of this is no secret. I mean, there's pictures of Benny Hinn with Paula White in a hotel room together holding hands, and they claim, guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg. These people, anybody who would take the just plain truths of the Bible and would pervert the right ways of the Lord, anybody who would do that and pervert God, they'll pervert anything. They'll pervert their marriage. They'll pervert their own bodies. And guys, I'm telling you, if they'll pervert God, they'll pervert anything. You need to get away from these people. Please run for your life, and run like your soul depends on it, because it does. Use our website, independentbaptist.church, to find a good church for you and your family. Get your kids get your kids away from idiots like this. Please, I'm asking you, please Get your daughters, get your teenage daughters away from morons like this man. Please, I'm begging you. This man's a fool. He's not saved. He's a charlatan. He just, it's pitiful what he has become. But use this website, independentbaptist.church. Find you a good church. I have reports from all over the world, all over the country, of people saying that, we found a good church. We're getting fed now. We're getting the Bible. And I say praise the Lord for that. That's wonderful. Thank God for that. I love it. And so please do that. And we certainly would appreciate your participation in that. Get your family out of these churches, folks. Please. I beg you. And so if there's anything we do for you, let us know. We love you. And I'm still a little bit sick, so pray for me. So, but we're just plugging away here, trying to get some truth out. God bless you guys. We love you. And if there's anything to do for you, let us know. God bless you.